A warm welcome to our webinar on Budget 2025, specifically for salaried individuals. So before we start, let us invoke the blessing of Ma Saraswati. Let her presence be there throughout the webinar, and may she keep blessing us all throughout. So it is a bright Saturday morning here in Kolkata, and I'll just close the presentation for a while. Yes. Saturdays are usually meant for relaxation, but it is wonderful to see so many people joining us. So many of you taking out time to join this important webinar. This shows that people genuinely want to understand and plan their taxes, which is a great sign of financial awareness. Our guest speaker, C.A. Akash Mansinka sir, has also joined us. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Vijay. Good morning, everyone.
Yeah.
A warm welcome here. So,
thank you, sir. It is an absolute honor and privilege to have you with us, and we look forward to your valuable insight on Budget 2025. So before we dive into the detailed analysis, I hand it over to Akash sir. I'll briefly share my thoughts on budget. So Budget 2025 has generated an overwhelmingly positive response and is being held as a dream budget for salaried and middle class taxpayers. The biggest highlight, 12 lakh पर छूट है, टैक्स नहीं देना, मतलब 1 लाख रुपए पर मंथ तक आपको टैक्स नहीं देना है. इतना हमने इमेजिन नहीं किया था कि इतना रिलीफ, इतने बड़ी रिलीफ हमारी फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर देंगी. But nevertheless, for years we have been hoping for tax relief, and this budget has finally delivered on that aspiration. Many tax experts have called it the best budget of their lifetime. I have heard Dr. Girish Ahuja ji saying that it is the best budget of his lifetime, and someone like of his stature saying this means a lot. So we must acknowledge and appreciate Honorable Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji for presenting a budget that directly benefits the middle class while fostering economic growth through increased disposable income. Our Finance Minister emphasized, and I quote, democracy, demography, and demand are the key support pillars in our journey towards Vikasit Bharat. The middle class provides strength for India's growth. This government, under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, has always believed in admirable energy and ability of the middle class in the nation building. This is the first full-time budget of Modi 3.0, and it marks a significant shift. Over the past 10 years, the tax slabs have been increased for twice. Once in 2019, when it was raised to 5 lakh, and then again in 2023, when it was raised to 7 lakh. And this year's update is a long-awaited catch-up, aligning slab rates and rebates at a pace that matches economic realities. One of the key insights from the budget analysis report suggests that the revenue foregone by the government due to this revised slab rates amounting to approximately 1 lakh crore, 1 lakh crore का प्रेशर गवर्नमेंट अपने पे ले रही है ये टैक्स स्लैब को चेंज करने के बाद. This move is expected to significantly boost consumption by increasing disposable income. Additionally, it is anticipated that a large number of taxpayers under the old tax regime may now shift to the new tax regime. To provide some context, let us look at a recent data. So we are talking about the data of financial year 23-24, where a significant majority of taxpayers have already opted for the new tax regime. Out of the total 7.28 crore income tax return filed by July 31, 2024, nearly 5.27 crores were under the new tax regime. So 7.28 crore income tax return हमारी जो फाइल हुई है 23-24 में, उसमें से 5.5 करोड़ के करीब हमारे न्यू टैक्स रिजीम में फाइल हुआ है, which accounts for nearly 72% of the entire filing. And this marked a substantial increase from the previous year. 22-23 में हमारा सिर्फ 2 करोड़ ही new tax regime में हुआ था. So apart from boosting consumption by increasing disposable income, the economic survey, which was presented on 31st of January, made a very important, highlighted an important concept, which was growth through deregulation. And one particular encouraging phrase that was used was trust first and scrutinize later. This principle suggests that regulators should adopt and uphold the same high standard that they expect from the individuals and businesses. The government's commitment to trust-based governance is a positive step, and we hope to see its successful implementation on the ground for the benefit of all taxpayers. With that, let me take a moment to introduce our esteemed guest speaker, CA Akash Mantika sir. And it is my privilege and an honor to introduce Akash Bhaiya, a distinguished chartered accountant and a master in commerce with nearly 16 years of rich experience in the field of taxation and advisory. Akash sir began his professional journey with PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, and later served as director at Ernst & Young, EY. Over the years, he has gained extensive expertise in corporate tax, international tax, transfer pricing, inbound and outbound advisory, and litigation advisory, catering to both multinational and domestic clients across industries such as manufacturing, IT, real estate, and many more. Currently, Akash sir is the managing partner at Novation Advisors LLP, a firm specializing in taxation, exchange regulation, risk advisory, and other financial services for Indian and overseas companies. Additionally, he is also partner at Accounttech Consultant LLP, providing payroll, bookkeeping, and tax services to multinational clients in their home countries. On a personal note, Akash sir has been like a mentor and a big brother to us, and he has been supporting us right from our journey in 2020 when we started, both professionally and personally, and we are truly honored to welcome him today. Without further ado, I invite Akash sir to take over and share his insights on Budget 2025 and its impact on salaried individuals. I also encourage all the participants who are joining us live on Instagram and LinkedIn to actively engage on the chat box. They can mention their question, and we will have the question answer session after Akash sir completes his deliberation. Over to you, Akash sir.
Thank you, Vijay. So just to say that Vijay and I started an entrepreneurial journey nearly together. So both of us left EY, and so we have a different bond. But a very warm good morning to everyone. Hopefully, this is a weekend, not much of a pressure on everyone for office. And it has already been 15 days since the budget. So the budget came on the 1st and we are sitting on 15th. So people would have gone through the budget to the extent it is applicable to them as personally or at the company level. But all in all, this budget has been a much awaited budget, as Vijay said, because every time the middle class taxpayers were not looked into that much. So the slabs were increased to a certain extent. The rebates were increased to a certain extent, but it was not giving that much benefit because the deductions and incentives were taken away. So it was somewhere just balancing those two things. But this time, by increasing from 7 lakh to 12 lakhs, it is a big jump, wherein we see that a lot of taxpayers or most of the taxpayers will move to the new regime. And that is what the government wants to do as well. So when this government came in 2014, they were very clear that they want to do away with the incentives and deductions which are there in corporate world or in the employee area. And therefore, they slowly and gradually, they have removed all the benefits. They have made such an environment that people leave the benefits themselves, and they come to a regime where their taxes are lower or at the same level without taking the benefit of those exemptions and deductions. So with that on the note, I'll just share my.
Yeah, sure.
So hopefully everyone is able to see the PPT. Vijay, are you able to see the
Yes,
PPT?
yes, yes, it's clear.
So to start off with, so the first, the slab, the basic exemption limit, which is there, has been increased from 3 lakh to 4 lakh. And the rebate, which was there from, as we are discussing, the rebate has been increased from 10 lakh, from 7 lakh to 12 lakh. So as I said initially, that all the benefits which are coming in the new regimes only. So the old regime, the benefits are not increasing from some time now. So that remains same. The slab remains same, 2.5 lakhs, 5 lakh, 10 lakh, and so on. So there's no change which has come in the old scheme, old regime. So, but over here, if we see the slabs for existing slab was 3 to 7, 3 lakhs. There was nothing. So this is the basic exemption limit, which has been increased to 4 lakhs. Earlier, 3 to 7 lakhs were 5%. It has become 4 to 8 lakhs. 7 to 10 lakhs, 10% has become 8 to 12 lakhs. So this will so wider tax slabs also means that lower tax for all taxpayers. So the people who are falling, say, within 20 lakhs, so their tax rate, the effective tax rate would be very low. So if we come to this slide, so we will be able to understand more. So 3 lakhs, earlier also it was 0%, and the proposed scheme also provides 0%. But from 3 to 4 lakhs, what is happening that earlier, so till assessment year to 24, 25, 25, 26 as well, of financial year 24, 25, the existing rate, including surcharge cess, was 5.2%, which is now 0%. From 4 to 7, it doesn't change. From 7 to 8, again, it was 10.4, which is reducing to 5.2. Then the change is coming from 10 lakh to 12 lakh, wherein 15.6 is reducing to 10.4. So all the blue ones or the turquoise color ones are the one which are changing, and those places there will be a saving in tax, which is somewhere around 1 lakh rupees. So this is a very welcome change which is there. I believe that there would be people will be very happy with this. This comes with a certain rider as well, that the special rate taxes are not eligible for the rebate. That we should be very clear. So earlier also, when we were filing return, the same thing was we were able to see, but it was not written specifically anywhere. But this time, because people were questioning it, this has specifically been mentioned in the white paper which has been received, and even in the budget speech as well. It was somewhere mentioned that the special tax rates are not eligible for the rebate. For example, in case someone is investing in the stock market and they have a long-term capital gain of, say, and that is the tax rate which is applicable now is 12.5%, and or a short term wherein there's a, say, 20% tax rate. So in that case, what would happen, or 15% tax rate or 20% tax rate, either of the case. So over there, what would happen that till we have the basic exemption level, till that there's no tax. But beyond that, the rebate, which comes from 4 lakhs to 12 lakhs, in case your total income is within 12 lakhs, the tax is not applicable. But for these incomes, the tax will still be applicable. So people have to be mindful. So in case their total income, including these income, is within 12 lakh, it doesn't mean that tax would not be applicable. So that is very important. But at the same time, for example, a person only has a long-term capital gain, and the long-term capital gain is, say, 4 lakh, then the basic exemption limit, he is not required to pay any taxes now. But if his total income is, say, 5 lakh, still he is not required to pay taxes. Why? Because there is an exemption in the new regime also that 1 lakh, the long-term capital gain under 112A to the extent of 1 lakh, if it is through the stock exchange, is not taxable, or 1,25,000 till 1,25,000 in the new regime, it is not taxable. So that is to be taken care of. As soon as you breach that limit, that becomes taxable. You are not eligible for the tax benefit. Hopefully, that must be clarifying. But still, once we finish off the session, it will be more in case the questions which are raised and we are able to take it, then we can further clarify on that. So now coming to certain specific examples. For example, a middle income taxpayer having an income, a total income of 16 lakhs, who is, so we are considering a place where the slabs are more than 12 lakhs, because within 12 lakhs, definitely it is not taxed. So, so that the tax will be zero. But we are comparing that what happens in the three cases, the old regime, the new regime, which is presently there, and after budget, what would be there. So it is, as we said, it is more for the middle income group. For the higher income group, it is still not that lucrative. So if the income is 16 lakhs and there's an exemption of 3.2 lakhs, what could be the exemptions? For example, house rent allowance. That is for a salaried person, house rent allowance is the biggest exemption which they claim generally. So say it is a 3.2 lakh of exemption is there. The exemption can also be for leave travel allowance. Deductions which are being claimed are 2.25 lakhs. Then under the old scheme, the tax rate would be 1.19 lakh. Under the new regime, it would have been 1.53 lakhs. So what would happen? That people, if this budget would not have come, people would have still wanted to file the return under the old regime. But now, since the new regime will be lower than old regime, a lot of people would want to shift to new regime. And one thing which should be clear over here, I'll just say that for a salaried person, any person who is not having income from business and profession, they can change the regime every year. So they can select the new regime this time, old regime next time, and then again new regime. So there's no bar on how many times they can change it. So and this, the example which I'm showing is largely more for the salaried people. So they're likely to go for the new regime over here. Now, if we increase the income a bit more, say 24 lakhs is the income, exemption is 4 lakhs, deductions is around 2.5 lakhs. Then the old regime, the tax was 3.35 lakhs. New regime, the tax would have come to 4 lakh, which is significantly higher than the old regime of around 68,000 rupees. But the new regime is significantly lower, which is 2.93 lakhs. So this is, the benefit is very clearly evident that where we are getting benefit. So going forward, so it is the reasoning is same, because this over here the benefit is coming from because of the slab rates, because of the increasing of the slab rates. Now upper middle class, so in case the income is 60 lakhs, so a person who is a salaried getting a higher income, their HRA is also likely to be higher. Their rents are also likely to be higher. And the deduction which they are claiming is 2.5 lakhs. It could be 1.5 lakh from ATC. There could be ATD benefit of medical insurance. There could be the National Pension Scheme, NPS, could be another 50,000. So a person is claiming 2.5 lakh rupees as deduction, exemption of 6 lakh. So presently the old scheme was 14.69 lakhs. New regime is 16.79 lakhs, which was there. And post budget, it is 15.53 lakhs. So when the exemption limit is higher, what we see that still the old regime is better. So by this, and if we are taking one more example of 1.2 crores, wherein after this, old regime will always be better, because old regime over here, if you can see, it is 36.87 lakhs, and the proposed change will bring it to 37.76 lakhs. Though the difference, the difference has reduced significantly, but still there is a difference of nearly 2 lakh rupees. Oh, sorry, 1 lakh rupee. And this is the high income group where a person is getting 2.4 lakh rupees. Over here, again, the difference has, so earlier the difference was around 4 lakh rupees. That has reduced to say around 2.5 lakh rupees. So going back to the to this middle income group, so we can see that this group, which was there, this is getting benefited significantly by the new regime, wherein they are able to get more income in their hands to either invest or to make expenditure, and that is what the government wants, because this is the biggest chunk of the people who are spending on a regular basis. So if they spend or even they invest, more money would be there in the market and the economy will flourish that way. So that is the entire idea of increasing the rebate up to 12 lakh rupees.
So can we say that for higher income groups, it is the old tax regime is still beneficial?
We can say to that to certain extent. It now depends. For example, over here we are considered, say, higher income group. If we see here, the exemption we have considered as 12 lakhs. So this is something which a person has to see. Deduction 2.5 lakh is fine. There's a chance that everyone would have that, because nowadays everyone is more akin to the thing that they should have a medical insurance. People put in some money in NPS as well to save taxes, and ATC is definitely there. So exemption of this 12 lakh rupees, that this is the main amount which a person needs to see, that how much exemption the high income group is claiming. So in case,
if this varies, then there may be an implication.
So what happens that in case the person is, so we are talking about salaried person, because the exemption over there could be higher because of the HRA and LDA. But higher income group, 2.4 lakh rupees in salary, there will be much lesser number of people. So 2.4 lakh rupees would be there, but those would be more into business. So the business people would not have that much avenues of exempt income. Okay. So in case the exempt income reduces to say 3-4 lakh rupees, then again the new regime will become more lucrative.
Okay.
So the entire difference which is being made is because of the exemption. So one more question, which whenever I meet people, so they have this question that what is this? So what happens that if my income increases from more than 12 lakh rupees, whether because everyone says that as soon as your income is more than 12 lakhs rupees, then you are required to pay taxes on full amount. So full amount in the sense, then again that minimum basic limit of 4 lakh rupees will kick in. Yeah, that is there. But so government is also mindful that they cannot take, cannot leave less money in the hands of a person who is having say 12.1 lakh rupees of income than a person who is having 12 lakh rupees of total income. So what happens in that case, that your taxes, so as soon your income crosses 12 lakhs, I'm not taking into consideration special income where the tax rate is less, but as soon as in your normal income where 12 lakh would have been nil, and if your income increases above 12 lakhs, then your tax payable cannot be higher than the increase in the income. Okay, for example, if your income is 12 lakh 10,000 say, so your tax without marginal relief, so if you see, is 61,500, but that will be restricted to 10,000 only, because the increase in the income is 10,000. So your taxes will not be higher than 10,000. So similarly, so you will see that 67 when it is 12 lakh 50,000. So the income has increased by 50,000, but if I normally tax it, the taxes would be 67,500. But they cannot take more than 50,000 because my increase in income is only 50,000. So they cannot take amount more than that. So till around 12,70,000, there's 2,000 more though. The marginal relief, so the entire increase the income will be taken as taxes. So in a way, we should, any employer, when he gives salary to his employees, so in case it is say 12.7 lakh rupees, where the total income comes to 12.7 lakh, the employee should say, please don't give me this money. You keep the money with you. Give me 12 lakh only, because I will not get anything more in my hands. Ultimately, I'll pay whatever extra from 12 to 12.7 you are giving is going to the government. So why you pay me? You keep it to yourself. You increase the salary more next year, so that I will get something in my hand. So in the graph also you can see that from 12 lakh to 12,70,000, the taxes, the income which we see after tax is the orange line. So the after tax in hand income does not increase. It remains same. It remains at the same level. But after that, it starts increasing. So, and pre-tax, if you see, it is increasing, but after tax, it remains same. So a person having a total income from 12 lakh to 12.7 lakhs would not have any benefit in its hands, because entire thing up will go in taxes. Plus, in the budget, somewhere, Madam Nirmala Sitharaman said that they have given a benefit till 12.75 lakh rupees, which is correct for the salaried people, because if a person is having a total income of 12.75 lakhs rupees, 75,000 is available as standard deduction. So standard deduction for an old regime person, the standard deduction is 50,000, but for a new regime person, the standard deduction is 75,000. So till 12,75,000 of total income, there is no tax, because standard deduction will be available of 75,000. But beyond that, another 70,000 will be eaten up as tax. Hope.
On this point, there has been a debate between the MP CA Raghav Chadha and Nirmala Sitharaman ji, where he said that after 12 lakh, actually 100% of the income is going to the government treasury. So, yes. So he was actually debating, why are you taking 100% of the tax amount? But effectively, if you see, it is not 100% of the income. Mm-hmm. If you see on 12,70,000, effective tax rate would be much lower.
Yes, yeah, that is there. Effective tax rate would be much lower. Secondly, what happens, that this is nothing new. Okay, this is something which has been there always. Yeah. Whenever we even when there is a slab, there's a different thing. But earlier also we had rebates. Rebates mm-hmm. were till say 5 lakh. Mm-hmm. So in that also the marginal relief is there.
Yeah.
So it is something which is being said just because we know that a lot of things which are said is just not a lot of mind is not applied over there, or people don't see the history. But it has always been there, to be honest. So whether I discuss, yeah. So there was another discussion there are two more things from a personal tax perspective. One is that 2 houses can be considered as self-occupied. It was also there from last 3-4 years, where 2 houses were allowed as self-occupied, but there were more conditions aligned to it. To consider it as self-occupied, there were more conditions aligned to it. So now they have removed most of those conditions. So it is more easily available as self-occupied. And the other thing is, if a person is not salaried and the person is in profession or doing business, then the TDS rates at a lot of places, the threshold has been increased. So the lower income group people or middle class people, they will have some benefit, because that the money which was getting stuck with the government and they had to file return and get the refund after a year. So that will, to certain extent, that money will not get stuck, because somewhere 5,000 has been increased to 10,000, somewhere the 10,000, 25,000 has been increased to 30,000, 30,000 has been increased to 50,000. Rent, there has been a big increase from 2,40,000 to 6 lakh, I believe. So those kind of increases are there, for which the taxes which were being deducted on the income of individuals or anyone, so that will reduce, but that will benefit individuals more, because it is of individuals in the middle class group. So that is majorly, and if for the personal tax or individuals, and this budget has been for individuals, because other than that, there has not been much of change because of two reasons. One is that the government in the last, say, 5-6 years, they were more inclined towards removing the ambiguities which were there in the act and removing the incentives which were there in the act. So most of them they have already done. Secondly, they are coming with the new tax law itself, the draft of which has been tabled at the government and in the parliament on 12th. So now that will be discussed, and likely that will come from next year onwards. Next year, in the sense from 2026-27, it is likely to be there, which is not very, very different from the existing budget, but that has been made more simple. So therefore, they did not want to bring too many changes here, because the new thing is based on the current law.
Right.
So that is all from my side. Hopefully, it has cleared some doubts. And now we will have a question and answer session, which I will.
Yes, few of the questions that I got from my fellow colleagues and few of the friends who are there in the industry working on a salaried basis. So first is, how do one plan their taxes for the financial year 25-26 so that they pay tax optimally, as well as they have some sort of savings as well. So how do one plan for it?
So basically, first of all, they have to see whether they are paying under new regime or old regime. Okay. So if in case they are paying, say, under old regime, then they have to see that these ATC benefit they have to take. So whether they have to keep that money specific for ATC or ATD or ATCCD for NPS and all. Now in ATC as well, they have to see which are the places where they have already committed. For example, if it is a life insurance premium, then they have to pay that. And places where they are not committed, then they can think of the places where they can earn more income. So there are certain benefits which are also available if you invest in, say, mutual funds as well, equity-oriented mutual funds. So those kind of things they can see. And in case they are in the new regime, then there are a lot of avenues which are there. So then they have to make a portfolio that how much money they want to be secured. So everyone. So this budget also brings in one more thing. So people that government wants that people should be smart. So what happens that when we are in old regime, so we think of ATC, ATD, and because everyone is too busy in their work on a weekdays. So I was into job from till 2019 end. So I know that from Monday to Friday or Saturday, it was totally busy, and the rest of the time I had to give to my family. So to put mind to investment was not possible. So, and the tax was a good thing where we could have taken a shelter. So we used to think that because it will give a tax benefit, put in money over there. So that way we were going. Now, because it is not giving benefit, so people have to take out time somewhere and think about it, or keep a investment portfolio manager who can help you in that, so that you can earn much more money with lower risk as well. Because if the portfolio thing is there where with a lower risk or with a decent risk, you can put in different areas having more income out of that.
We have to be smart. So finance minister is asking us to be smarter when it comes to tax, optimally pay taxes.
Yeah, so people have to start reading, start investing that way.
Or take professional help.
Yeah. In case they don't have time, because there few of the jobs could be very taxing, or few of the people may think that it is not my cup of tea to understand that what investment is. So nowadays there are too many portfolio managers or investment managers so take help of them and invest.
Sir, one more question that was very pertinent previously in the old regime and in the new regime as well, which is HRA for all salaried class, HRA exemption under 1013 AA. So please throw some light as to how we can plan things under HRA, and is the new bill also containing the HRA provision? Is it continuing? What is government's take on that?
Yeah, so first of all, coming to what the new bill is saying, because to be honest, I've not read the entire bill, because I thought that the new bill will be much smaller. So it is not that small. So from 800 few pages, we have come to 600 something pages. So
200 pages lesser. Yes.
Less is there. So it's not that less, but they have removed these exemptions from the regular act to schedules. Okay. So because I also wanted to see what happens with HRA, because somewhere in the individual salaried people's hand, HRA is the biggest place, or people who are having who are not planning to pay taxes under new regime is only because of HRA, at least for salaried people.
Yeah.
So I went to see that whether HRA is there or not. So it is not mentioned as HRA. It is mentioned as special benefit from the employer or something, or special allowance from the employer. And then in the schedule, it is there, where it is there. So they have not given the computation mechanism or whether it is same or not, but it is there that if the rent is being reimbursed by the employer. So it is there. When we go more deep into it and there will be a lot of debate over everything, then we will be able to understand more into it. But it is there. It is not that they have removed it altogether. Now, from the HRA normal perspective, as of now, so as we know that it is what can be claimed is lowest of the three items. The one is the HRA amount which is being received from the employer. Second is the rent which is being actually paid to the landlord. Third is the rent paid minus 10% of basic. Okay. So a person who is willing to claim entire HRA, their rent should be equal to or higher than the rent amount plus 10%. The HRA amount plus 10% of basic. It should be higher than that. Yeah. So in case, for example, in case my HRA is 1 lakh rupees. So generally HRA, the basic amount is double of HRA in most of the companies in a metro city. So if say my HRA is 1 lakh, so my basic will be 2 lakh generally. So if my rent is 1,10,000, sorry, 1,20,000 or more, then I'll be able to get the entire benefit of HRA. The entire exemption will be available, because HRA, when I write HRA will be 1 lakh rupees. Okay, rent paid will be 1,20,000 rupees.
1,20,000, yes.
And my rent paid 1,20,000 minus 10% of basic, which is 20,000. 1,20,000 minus 20,000 will be 1 lakh. So 1 lakh. So 1 lakh entire HRA I will get.
Yeah. Okay.
So that way, my HRA, if it is more equal to or more than HRA plus 10% of basic, that is the formula.
Okay. The next question is, if the employer is deducting TDS as per the old regime, employer is deducting the TDS as per the old regime, but what can the employee do if he wants to switch to the new regime and get refund of taxes?
Yeah. So what happens that first of all, as a what I have seen, because I was also into job, that employer gives two times they give in a year an option to the employee to tell them that whether you are the employee will be paying under new regime and old regime. So one at the beginning of the year, one when we give the all the documents for the claim of deductions and exemptions. So preferably employee should tell at that time itself so that the TDS has been deducted correctly and the situation of claiming a refund does not arise at all, because why to defer? So if I can have the money 10,000 today, its value after 6 months will be lower.
Sure.
Because so why to defer the money? So that way, let the employer deduct only that much tax which is actually payable. But if that has not been done, then in return, you can always make changes. Return gives you an option to select old regime or new regime, irrespective whether you have selected new or old regime while the employer has been paying taxes on your behalf.
Okay. So just an experience that I want to share. Most of the employees, what I see is do not disclose the regime that they want to opt initially. So by default, till recently, by default regime was old regime, and now from the last year it has been shifted to new regime. So employer will deduct accordingly. But if you want to opt for either for new regime or old regime, you have to disclose it to your employer at the beginning of the year so that they can plan your taxes, your TDS in a better way and an optimum way.
Yeah, that is there. Secondly, what happens? One more thing is that when you are claiming in new regime, then still it is not that big a problem because you are not required to give papers and everything.
Right.
But in case employer is deducting as per new regime and you want to pay under an old regime because your HRA is higher, then there could be a bit of a problem because employer, if you see the form 16, it provides that how much you have claimed the HRA benefit. But if you have not claimed the HRA benefit, that would not be disclosed under in the chapter in the TDS certificate that how much HRA was being paid by the employer. So in case you go and claim that in the return, that can always be a matter of dispute. So there's a likely chance that assessment will be open. So if you are going to pay taxes under old regime, ultimately in the return, then it is more important for you to tell your employer that I'm going to pay under old regime. Take these documents of HRA and everything. Give me the benefit of HRA in the TDS state while deducting TDS itself, so that appears in my TDS certificate. And while filing the return, I can disclose it in my return as well, and both the things matches, and there will be no dispute in that case.
Right. The next question, sir, one is what is the impact if the employee also does F&O trading and has profit of, say, suppose 5 lakh apart from the salary income of 12 lakh. So he has a salary income of 12 lakh and F&O income, positive income of 5 lakh.
So there's no problem because the benefit is available to all individuals. So whether it is business income or otherwise, so the benefit is available to everyone. Special rate income is not covered under rebate. So there should not be a problem in that regard per se. But salaried are more benefited because they have the standard deduction and everything as well. That is it.
Okay. And sir, next question is rebate under section 87A is not allowed for NRIs.
Yeah.
In this case, if an NRI's income is exactly 12 lakh, do they still need to pay tax as per the slab rates, or is any other benefit available to NRI as per the budget 2025?
So budget 2025 does not change anything for NRI other than the slab rates. The slab rates which are there, the 3 lakh to 4 lakh, which has become the gap in the slabs of from 3 to 7 to 4 to 8 and all those things are applicable to NRIs. But NRIs, they are not eligible for section 87A, that is the rebate up to 12 lakhs. Secondly, to my knowledge, they are not even eligible for that long-term capital gain benefit up to the basic exemption limit as well. So those kind of benefits are available for resident, so that there should be some benefit available to the people who are in India over there.
Right. Sure. So if they earn 12 lakh rupees, they will have to pay as per the new tax slab they will not get any payment. That's like
either they pay under old slab or new slab. They can pay either or, but they will not get the rebate.
benefit of the rebate. Yeah.
For them,
87 is rebate will not
everything
be.
remains same other than the slab changes.
Okay. One important question. It has been recently circulated that wrongly claimed deductions by an employee may attract penalties. If an individual has claimed such deduction in an earlier period, what are the potential consequences under the Income Tax Act? So they have claimed multiple deductions.
See, I've seen a lot of people doing that because when I was working, so a lot of my friends and all. Sorry.
No problem.
Kesha, sorry, am I audible? Yeah.
Yes.
So there were a lot of people claim without even investing in ATC and all. And those people earlier, the transparency was not that much. So if they were doing it 10 years back, maybe the government was not able to do anything. But nowadays you will see that whether you are doing an NPS, whether you are doing an ATC, because in LIC also you have to give the KYC documents, whether you are doing PPF, you are receiving SMSs every time and you have to give KYC there as well. The government is having all the details.
Yeah.
When I open my AIR, it has more details than what I know. Sometimes
Yes.
Have I done this? I have not done this. But when I go through my bank account, I'm able to see actually I've done this. So most of the time, 99% of the times, AIR is having more details than me, and most of the times it is correct details.
Right.
So therefore, government has the details now. For this year, in the last 3-4 years also it has, because now the opening of the reassessment can be done for the last 3 years. Generally, I'm not assuming that the amount is too high that they can reach out to 10 years as well. So definitely the government can open the assessment. They can do the reassessment, make that adjustment, ask for the taxes, ask for the interest on those taxes, and ask for the penalty as well. So better. So in case people are not doing those deductions and they think that the expenses are more than what is there, so they cannot do any investment, though they should do because it helps them in the future. But in that case, opt for the new scheme where no deduction is available. So you are not required to give any false claims in that case.
So if they have done it in the past, there is no way out.
In case they received a notice, there is no way out. In case they want to change it, suo moto. Suo moto means in a regular that by themselves they have that guilt and they're fearful that it may be caught at a later date. Then this return of this ITRU, which is there, that can be filed, disclosing that income, the additional income, or not claiming the deduction, and paying the taxes. The taxes would be higher than the normal because there is a tax plus 25%. There's a slab that if it is this much old, then this much tax you have to pay.
Yeah.
And then they can pay under that, and they can sleep without any tension.
So what I found was, say suppose they have some innovations regarding filing the updated ITR, because they are saying that, say suppose I have done a mistake in 22-23 and I filed ITRU for 22-23, and the government will get to know that I have done this mistake in that year. They will open up all the files of the previous all years.
They have to see that how big is the mistake. Yeah. So the government can open 3 years prior to the assessment year in general. Before that, they cannot open unless the amount quantum involved is very high. Okay. So I don't think so. A salaried person would have a very high quantum year on year. That quantum will not be seen for 10 years taken together. It will be seen every year. Every year that quantum should be higher. So that way, I don't think so. The government will be able to open it.
Okay, sure. So one more questions I received from Asta. What are the implications on tax deductions when an individual switches job in the middle of the financial year?
So over there, it is very, very important because people fall into a big problem in these cases. What happens that they, when they are in one of the organization, they give all their tax proof and everything to that organization. When they change, they give all the proof to the other organization as well, and the slab rate is also applied by both the organizations. So what the employee should do, that when they uh, so when they go to the other organization, they they should disclose. There's an, if you see in the form 16, or when in all most of the employers, they ask, there's an option to give the details that how much income you have earned from your previous employer.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
if they give those details, then that will be considered while computing the benefit, the taxes payable. If they give that properly, those details, then they would not get into. Otherwise, they have to pay a huge, or either they, likely they will have to pay a huge tax at the time of filing return, which becomes a bit of a problem.
So Shubhankar asked, the employees engaged with two or more employers. So standard deduction will be separate for all employers or no?
No, it is not there. So all employers by themselves, they may give some standard deduction because
Yeah.
the person is moonlighting, so they
Correct.
is working for more than one employer. But while filing a return of income, only automatically it will take only once.
Okay. Next is by Ayush. 80 CCD2 deduction is allowed in new regime also. I believe the 80 CCD2, the contribution by the employer, NPS contribution by the employer.
Okay.
So whether it is continuing in the new regime, or so that they can ask the employer to deduct their contribution as a part of the salary and pay us lesser taxes. So they have a pool of savings where they get deduction also.
I need
So
to be honest, I need to check on that because
okay, sure,
generally the government has, so I can get back on that, and then
sure.
we can post it over there because
Sure.
this I have.
And one question we have received from Insta Rational Indian: have the due dates to submit taxes changes in the new income tax bill? I believe is talking about the income tax bill only.
No,
Uh,
there's no change in the tax return due dates. So
okay.
now the dates are generally very easy to follow. For an employee, salaried employee, July is not a big deal unless they are doing a lot of FNO and everything. Over there also, generally nowadays, all the brokers give a very clear, distinct statement where they can file the return comparatively easily. So there's no change in the uh, due dates as such.
Okay. Okay. Right. So we are through with the questions. More or less, we have taken all the questions. Uh, right. Any closing remark, Akash sir? Any closing remarks that you would like to mention to all the salaried individuals how they can plan their taxes?
The planned taxes, I already said that
Yeah.
it was always required. Now the government is putting stress on that. One is that a person should see that, for example, LIC, the life insurance, is not an investment. So people should understand that LIC is not an investment thing. It is more for safety of your loved ones. So in case uh, something happens to the individual, their family should be having enough money so that they can uh, lead their life. So from that perspective, LIC should be done. And so from the if we do in that manner, then we may do term insurance. The money which will be term insurance have much lower premium. The money which is left, we can put that money into a more income giving instrument. uh, Plus, in case a person if doesn't that person does not have that much of time, I'm saying, because generally I also don't get that much of time, so I involve a professional person who can help me in doing those investments. So that is very much required for everyone's future. investment should not be done entirely in the stock market because it is volatile. So people should do investment in various places, things which are least akin to any kind of problems, and certain amount in stock market as well if possible, so that the returns could be decent.
Yeah.
That is what is there.
Right. So yes, thank you so much, Akash sir, for your insightful discussion. And I hope people who have joined, and the recordings will be available on our YouTube and LinkedIn channels, so they'll get benefited out of it. The core thing that I get from this webinar is the finance minister want us to be smart in terms of tax planning. And if you are not, if you are busy, get a smart tax expert so that they can plan on your behalf, right? So that was it from our end. I thank Akash sir wholeheartedly for taking out his valuable time and sharing his knowledge and wisdom with us. And yeah, thank you so much, Bhaiya. And I hope I'll continue to bother you for most of the sessions. Income tax bill has come, so I'm expecting you to speak to us regarding that as well, so that for the benefit of larger audience as well. And I'll present an e-memento, and that will be on our LinkedIn Live and Insta Live. That will be shown by my technical team. E-memento presented to Akash Mansinghka sir for his valuable insights. Thank you so much, Akash Bhaiya. So it is available. My technical team says it is already there on display and on our LinkedIn and Instagram live pages. Thank you so much, Bhaiya, for your time, and thank you, beautiful audience, for joining us and getting to know more about the tax, the benefit that have come in the budget 2025. I wish you all a great weekend. Thank you so much, and bye bye.
Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Thank you.